Hey everyone, Rick here, and in what will probably be one of my final things, gaming things I brought home from my parents' house videos, we really cleared out the basement on this one. And this isn't all of it. I do still have to go back and grab some more, but this is a gigantic portion of what I still had left to bring home. A lot of these white boxes are my resin Orban Forge sets. So there's a few ruins sets in there and some of the medieval sets. A lot of these are just the basic dungeon sets and also some cavern sets, a lot of accessory sets, and so yeah, and it's so funny because with the new year coming up and hosting a lot of gatherings, it was time to really bring home as much stuff as I possibly could this go around. So I had a lot of help to haul this over, and just looking at some of this stuff, I have a lot of my Arcane Legions stuff. Pretty much the rest of that left. A couple base sets and a lot of the various expansion packs. So we have, for example, here's the Han Cavalry. And so that's a little shot of what those guys would look like. And just some other different basic units of figures. And then some of this is my crystal cast farmhouse set terrain, which is featured in one of my first videos I ever posted on YouTube about my gaming stuff. Here's an old, just a couple years old, but one of the Black Dragon figures from the Pathfinder miniatures series. I think you got that if you ordered a full case of the stuff. And I don't think I ordered a full case, but I got that in an eBay lot. And then also a lot of this stuff is trading cards. So there's a ton of Magic the Gathering cards here. There's a couple of these big trays just packed with cards. And I have some specially pulled out cards, like this box is just full of pre-made decks. Then I have a bunch of other card game cards. Here is a bunch of Dark Age cards. So I mean, these are just packed to the brim. Hyborian Gates, Wyvern, and more Dark Age. Dragon Ball Z, Legend of the Five Rings, Battle Spirits, Merlin's Fighting Fantasy Battle cards. If you've never heard of those, they're pretty crazy. Actually, this is all more Magic the Gathering, so some of this is mislabeled. There's more Hyborian Gates. And in here, I think, is just more Magic the Gathering stuff, even though that's a Legend of the Five Rings box. Here is my old Pokemon cards that I've had forever. So these are the old first edition cards that I've just kept in this box this whole time. I still have a Meowth, a foil promo Meowth in its packaging wrap still. And so that is all sorts of different cards. There's some Yu-Gi-Oh in there, right, and some just etc. Probably more Magic the Gathering. That's what I have more than anything. Oh, and I have to show off my Iggy Pop action figure. Couple terrain mats in there. There's one for Sails of Glory. That is the Pathfinder Adventure card game map. Then a few miniature terrain mats. Some more Orban Forge stuff. Here's a bunch more of my Pathfinder pre-painted figures. And I use these typesetters trays and also this old Pepsi box. I had all of these just hanging on the wall in my last game room. And then here is this huge, not necessarily huge, but pretty big, like 20-pound or 30-pound box, just full of random Magic the Gathering cards. This Reaper case is full of Clan War figures for the Legend of the Five Rings Clan War game. So there's some dice and cards in there. A ton of metal figures. These are all unpainted. And I do have a whole bunch of painted figures in my game room now. Lots and lots more Orban Forge sets and other terrain. And more of my Arcane Legion stuff. That's a base, just an empty base box. And here's a bunch of Clan War boxes. That's the newer base set. It just has a variety of random figures in it right now. I picked up a huge Clan War lot off of eBay. This is the old base set box. And this is just completely full of mounted figures and infantry and tons of bases. I don't know what in the world I'm ever going to do with all that. Then a bunch more card game, Yu Yu Hakusho stuff, more Magic the Gathering, and a whole pile of Clan War books. Different army books and the latest hardback book. Apparently that was signed by Ken Carpenter himself. The man, the myth, the legend, the author of the Clan War books. I did not have that signed by him. Whoever had the lot before I purchased it must have tracked him down and had him sign it at one point. And what else? This box here, if you remember from my Lego haul unboxing video, I still have a ton of Lego sets in this box, still unopened in the packaging, that I have to put together at some point. I've been holding off on putting new sets together until I complete my Lego room. Then this is a bunch of World of Warcraft card game stuff that I don't know what in the world I thought I was going to do when I bought all that. And below that, there's more Clan War books. And then these tubs are full of more Lego sets. Lego is just completely still in the process of being transferred over to my house. There's some castles in here. These other two are full of more castle sets. All these bins here are just a few of my custom castle armies. So for example, you can go to bricklink.com and piece together your own minifigures. So I made this kind of custom army of these kind of guys. I think that's a Harry Potter shield, but I bought up a bunch of those. And so I created a variety of different custom Lego armies. That's kind of a Black Knights one. This isn't really custom. This is just all the old trolls and orcs that they came out with a few years ago. And then the opposing crown knights to them. And this was another faction that I came up with myself, with a lot of these pieces from, can't remember the name of the manufacturer. It was either Brick Warriors or Brick Forge, one of the two. Comes up with these custom minifigure weapons, armor, and shields. Man, that focus is not really focusing. But so I pieced together a whole bunch of these guys to come up with this faction of knights. So there's spearmen and swordsmen and archers in there. This is just a ragtag group of Just a whole bunch of different classic castle factions. And then there's some others in there. I think some from the old Samurai and Ninjas line of sets. And then lastly, I also have all my old terrain boards from Eslo Terrain. I think this is enough for a 4x6 table, because that's 4, 6. Well, I guess I may have gotten some more, so it could be even bigger. These are 2 feet by 2 feet apiece. Some of them have, the light is kind of bad, but some have little fields and roads on them. You can lay those out in like a grid pattern. So that is pretty much what we hauled over. And there's just a whole bunch of furniture too. I'm going to put a lot of this in my basement and my game room. So I brought over a little bookshelf and a desk. The shelves go in there, but the really big shelves are these guys right here. So I'll be bringing those downstairs, because if you've seen my game shelves, they are pretty packed. And my dad picked up a couple of these gigantic shelves from an auction, and so I will be putting those in the basement. So I will have plenty of room to store all this stuff that I brought home. So that pretty much covers it. All the whatnots that I picked up and brought home this time. And like I said, this is pretty much it for gaming stuff, really, if I'm not forgetting anything. So a lot more Lego to still gather up, though. And now I have the wonderful joy of bringing this all downstairs and finding room for it. So, as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time.